Hello everyone and welcome to Module 1. This is Lesson 7 of your professional diploma in social media marketing. The end of Module 1 is in sight and you are one lesson away from completing Module 1. Congratulations and keep up the good work. Kicking off with a fact, did you know that the top 3 ways marketers focus their social media content is around teaching at 61%, storytelling at 58%, and inspirational posts at 53%. So here we can start to gauge what types of content most marketers are posting. And I'm sure that if they're all posting this, then it must work. So for this lesson, I have an awesome quote. It is, "Good content always has an objective. It's created with intent. It therefore carries triggers to action." And that is from Anne Handley at Marketing Profs. And today we are going to see how to achieve good content through having an objective and through intention. As always, I am Jessica Hanna and I am your social media course educator. If you have any queries, our AI chatbot Morpheus is here to assist you. And in this chat box, you can ask and answer questions as well as chat with Morpheus or chat with your classmates. We would really appreciate it if you could rate the responses that you get so that we can improve your Shaw Academy experience going forward. And if you have any other queries, you can email us on support@shawacademy.com. Success requires effort and commitment, and we are here to help you achieve your goals. So stick it through with us. You're on lesson 7 of module 1. One more lesson to go, and you can do this. We're almost there. So in lesson 6, we learned what social analytics is. We also learned why data improves your social media marketing. We looked at the various metrics that you get on each social media network, as well as how to report and what to report on. You are now on lesson 7, where we will look at content creation 101. So this will be all the basics that you need to create awesome content. So let's look at some of the objectives for this lesson. So we're going to look at the different types of content that you get, as well as the content development process. We're going to look at some content creation, as well as how to engage your audience or creating engaging content, as well as what users want from brands. And finally, we're going to go over some copywriting and design tips. So what is social content? Social content can be defined as anything that someone has posted or shared with others to a social media network. And this includes the various content types. So as we've seen in previous lessons, we know that our main types of social media content include text, as well as images, video, and files. And files can be PDFs or even slides. If we look at some of the examples here, so we have text as a post type, and this can be event updates, it can be news, company updates or announcements, as well as industry updates or announcements. For example, Twitter, for instance, has a lot of just text posts, and these play their own role. But as we did see in previous lessons, text generally doesn't generate as much engagement as images, for example. And just to give you an idea of some of the different types of images you can post, so we've got products, brand, quotes, customer quotes, affirmations, facts, helpful tips, reminders. You can try this idea, infographics, as well as memes. And in the right-hand side here, you can see that this is a company. They are called Letterfolk, and they make these little boards where you can change the letters. And these are some of their posts. And while they're all images, they've incorporated different ways to use their product. So technically it's a brand image and a product post, but they've found ways to incorporate their product into their images or their posts, so that it's not obvious. It's not an in-your-face product post, if that makes sense. And then of course we have different types of video. So in the top example, you can see there that this is for an ice cream company. They've now taken a how-to video, but they've adjusted it to their product. So build your own ice cream sandwich. This is a really unique way to connect with your followers. And then below, we have one from Intel, and that is more of a about us video or behind the scenes where they introduce their, where they have a meet the maker and they introduce one of their employees in order to connect with the audience. And then you also get different types of files that you can use. So here we can see that there is a, planner, or we can see that there is a catalog, and we can also see that there is an ebook. So there are a lot of things that you can post based on whatever industry you're in to help your clients or to help your customers or to gain brand awareness. If we had to look at matching our content types and our platforms together, when you consider all of the different types of content that you could create, we know that we have to consider what our audience wants and the platforms that we are using. So for example, if we're using YouTube, we know that we would then want to use video. Whereas if we're using Facebook, we would then want to use text, images, or video. And the same applies with Instagram or IGTV, as well as Twitter and in LinkedIn. The main difference here though is that we wouldn't post, for instance, a PDF to our YouTube account, for instance, because that wouldn't be able to upload. You can obviously then share a link where users can access that PDF. So having a look at this, what types of content are you using? Now that we've gone through the list, and you can type into Morpheus the kinds of content or post types that you're currently using in your social media marketing. Is it working for you? And also let me know if there's any new types of content that where you've had an idea and you've been like, oh, this is epic for my business. You can even type that in there. So tell me, what types of content are you using or at this point wanting to use after going through this lesson? Behind each piece of content, there has to be a why. We've answered some of the fundamental questions. We know who our audience is. We know what content they like and which platforms to target them on. We know what content we want to produce in order to target them. But have you considered the why or the actual purpose of the content itself? For this, we want to look at a few reasons behind content creation. The first point is entertainment. So are you producing the content in order to entertain users? Like the Dollar Shave Club, for instance, that video that we saw in lesson 1. This is humorous content, and generally it has the most potential to go viral because who doesn't want a good laugh? But behind the entertainment, what are they trying to achieve? Well, they're probably trying to achieve brand awareness. So now we can see how our goals are now aligning with the types of content that we are producing. Another reason for producing content could be inspiration. Are you trying to inspire your users? Rihanna's line of makeup called Fenty Beauty, whose main campaign was geared towards racial inclusivity, builds brand awareness as well as brand loyalty by aligning with consumers' shared beliefs. So from what we've learned before, we know that especially with our generations, we know that certain generations are going to be more aware of products that overall are aiming to uplift society or the environment, or they're more willing to care about social issues and whether brands are actually contributing positively to social growth. So this is a beautiful example of how a brand is aiming to kind of tackle and challenge what our social norms or social beliefs currently are, especially with regards to race. And then you could also educate your audience. So does your content aim to educate them? Whole Foods, for instance, educates their customers about healthy organic foods, sustainability of certain products like seafood, and provides tips to keep kids healthy. So we can see these different types of content coming through and the purposes behind them. And while the consumer is only purchasing food products, they get the feeling as though the brand cares and is there to support them by being a source of information on being healthy. Another reason to create content is to have a conversation with your audience. So are you trying to jumpstart engagement or conversation around your brand or your product? Simply using a Twitter channel, Digital Freelancer engage their audience by allowing them to ask any questions around a particular topic. So not only does this generate engagement and conversation around their brand, but it positions them as an industry authority. So if I have someone who is there to answer my questions as I need them, or if I know then I can take their advice and I immediately associate them with being a professional or an industry expert. So that is a really good way to also then generate engagement as well as brand awareness. You could also create content in order to create a connection with your audience. So are you trying to build a relationship with them? General Electric invited influencers and a few fans to tour their facilities and to post pictures. So this combines influencers, and these are micro influencers. It's not like they're well-known people, but they do obviously have an association with the brand and an interest, and therefore they're more likely to post those pictures. And then again, we're looking at bringing in a user-generated content tactic. So these people are here. They're getting an opportunity to go and tour facilities because they're fans and they enjoy it and they're interested in it. They post pictures, which creates engagement, which creates awareness, and also General Electric gets content that they can use that they never had to generate in the first place. So again, then by using that content, they can share it with those people, and those people, because they're occurring there with a big brand, they will then be more likely to share it amongst their friends. So this is a really good way of creating connection with your audience. And as we know, audiences want a connection with a brand. They want you to feel like you are a real person, and they want to engage and respond and interact with your brand. So give them that opportunity to do it. And finally, are you producing content in order to promote your brand, product, or service? GoPro, of course, has an upper advantage when it comes to any kind of marketing, as it is a highly visual product. But they ran a competition with $1 million on the line for users submitting a highlight video of their latest GoPro product. I mean, this is a double whammy here, folks. What they did was they get hundreds of hours of user-generated footage as well as an advert for their latest product made by a user, and they don't have to do anything except for provide a prize. Now, obviously, your campaign doesn't have to be that extreme. Giving away a free product works just as well, because who doesn't love getting free stuff? This just gives you an example of a very creative way to promote your product. So let's connect the dots between our content types as well as the reason behind the content. So if we're looking at entertainment, we could be looking at viral videos, jokes, memes, comics, puzzles, competitions. For inspiration, we can have quotes, facts, personal success stories. In order to educate our audience, we could have informative blog posts, tips and tricks, industry research, case studies, live video training. In order to generate conversations, we can ask questions. We can have people ask questions. We can fill in the blanks, ask people to caption a photo, or host polls. In order to connect with your audience, you could look at shooting a behind the scenes video, you could have product reviews, or you could have employee or customer features. And then finally, in order to promote your product, you can have client testimonials, webinars, product or service highlights, discounts or promotions, as well as competitions. And all of these, we can see they can be done in video format. They can be done in text format. You can use images. You can also use files. So depending on what you're looking to achieve, these are the types of content that you can use in order to reach your goals. In previous lessons, we've taken a look at the steps in the customer journey. Can you remember what the customer journey is? You can just type all the steps in the customer journey. You can just type a Y or an N in order to answer that question. Type that into Morpheus. But basically, we can drill down even further into choosing our content and what types of content we want to post that would appeal to our buyer persona within the various steps within our customer journey. So we looked at that in lesson 3 at the customer journey. Can anyone remember what that contained? Let's just recap what the customer journey is. So we have awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and advocacy. Now, we cannot have one without the other. Without awareness, you can't have consideration. Without consideration, you can't have purchase. Without a purchase, you cannot retain your customers. And without retention or them becoming loyal to your brand, you cannot have advocacy. So in each of these stages, what content is going to appeal to users in order to achieve your goals? Let's just run through a quick example of how this all comes together. So if we go back to our example of the Dollar Shave Club, step 1, they set a goal. So their goal was to drive subscriptions to pay $1 to receive a shaving kit every month. Number 2, they knew their audience. So they knew that they had to target an audience who is predominantly male, probably career driven. They want to save time, they want to save money, and they want to save effort in their daily lives. They're busy men. So they looked at who their audience is. And because they knew who their audience is, they knew what platform to target them on and what platform to use. So we know, after having gone through the lessons, that the majority of users on YouTube and through going through data, we know that the majority of users on YouTube are male. So this is the number one platform of choice. And therefore, they knew what type of content to create, okay, which would be video. So they know their audience, they know what platform to use, they know what content, and they know what they're trying to achieve through this content. So they determined that video would probably be the best option. From that point, they needed to generate awareness first. So the reason for their video was, or the goal behind their video was awareness in order to drive subscriptions of males on YouTube through video, right? The reason or the why behind that awareness video was entertainment, okay? This, as I said, entertainment or funny videos are more likely to go viral than anything else because everyone enjoys laughing. So they did this through their entertaining video, which did go viral within 48 hours. Completely blew up YouTube. Following that, once they had the awareness, simply knowing about them doesn't drive the purchases, but a user who sees their YouTube video may also start to see ads or posts from the Dollar Shave Club on Facebook, or they might see it on Google, and this ends up then generating more information, which leads them to their website. So they're posting informative posts, and again, they're sticking with their brand. They have a humorous, light-hearted, kind of male-orientated brand. While this is a product post, it's also informative because they're saying that without shaving cream, it's not going to be a great experience, like driving a Ferrari with donuts for wheels. So that is not a fun experience, and shaving without that shaving butter is also not a great experience. So from here, they might see this post and then they go onto their website. And on their website, they then want to drive purchases, and they want to do this through interactive content. So you take the quiz, you see what recommendations come up for you and which is best for maybe your skin type or for your lifestyle. And this also then personalizes it and allows members to be retained. So we've gone from awareness with an entertaining video. We then reach consideration, where people start seeing posts and they're going, okay, this is cool. I'm into this. I wonder if it's worth it. They then go onto the website and they go, okay, this is now personalized for me. There's also trust builders, the free shipping, the 30-day money back guarantee, and cancel anytime. That builds trust with a brand. So now we're looking at trust. We're looking at personalization, and it's interactive. It feels like this is made for me, and that is going to drive those purchases. Once we have those purchases, we want to look at retaining our customers. So they're posting informative content. Again, it's sticking with their brand persona. Their brand persona is lighthearted, it's humorous, it's fun, it's, there to provide information, but also in a very humorous way. And this is now going to retain them as well as the product itself. So when you're looking at the product, you get this beautiful box, you want to take a photo of it, you're sharing this photo, so that also then generates in turn more awareness. As I said in lesson 1, if you then purchase their product and you take a photo and post it, they will more than likely start to reward you with a free t-shirt or whatever the case is. So this is a really, really solid model for generating that awareness, driving consideration, increasing purchases, and then again, retaining their audience with a combination of having a great product, but also putting up information that they think that their users will enjoy with a purpose behind the content. And then once they've retained, they can then move on to creating a advocate or advocacy for their brand through connection. So here in this example, they released a product and then they got people to say what they thought about their product. And you can see here by the comments, people are not entirely happy about it and they've still put it up because this creates a connection with your audience, and it also generates interest because now you see this and you go, okay, well, what is this about? If you're not familiar with it, and you go in and you look around at the product and you stumble onto other things. Again, this is a really solid model for creating everything, and the reason behind this would be a connection. Okay, people feel like their voices are heard. People like to be heard. If we now had to take all of that content and apply it to the customer journey, let's just look at it all in line. So first, we want to generate awareness. We're going to do this on the platform YouTube, and we're going to do it through video. The reason is to entertain and connect. Then in order to target them within their consideration phase, we're probably going to look at using platform. We're going to post images. Why? In order to entertain as well as educate. So now we're bringing the whys back in. We're multiplying our effect. So while we're still being entertaining, we also want to connect and educate in order for them to consider purchasing our product. Once they have purchased our product, what platform are we looking at? We're looking at then tackling them on the website, because that is where they'll purchase, and we're using interactive content. And the reason is to connect. The reason is to feel like we are offering a personalized service to you. Then we also have retention. So retention might be via email. The content would be deals and products. And this is in order to inform customers. So they feel like they're getting something out of it. They're getting information on any new products or any deals before anyone else. Now we're starting to inform them. And finally, we want them to be advocates. So we maybe want to use Facebook. We do this through images and videos, and we entertain and connect with our audience. I hope that this is all starting to come together and make sense. Okay, so now we're linking up our audiences with our platforms, with the type of content we create, with the journey that our customer would take, and we know why we want to do this and what we want to drive through our content. So let's jump into our content development. Before we do this, I first want to ask you, are all the pieces from each lesson coming together? So by now we should have a pretty solid foundation. You can just answer with an A for yes or a B for no. At this point in our learning journey, we have gone through what the social media platforms are and what their purposes are, as well as what kinds of audiences use that. We've learned about our audiences. We've learned about strategizing for those audiences and tackling them. We've then gone into creating and optimizing our profile. So everything's set up, it's ready, it's looking beautiful. We know who we're targeting. And now we're looking at, then we looked at the metrics and how to measure our achievements. And now we're looking at the types of content that we would create for the various platforms and the whys behind it. So I hope that everything that you have learned up until this point is coming together. So let's look at the 4 P's of content development. First of all, we have plan. So we need to plan our content. We will then produce our content. We then need to refine and perfect our content, and then promote our content. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at each of these individually. So we have plan. By this point, you should have basically done this if you had worked alongside me. We need to define our audiences. We need to pick our topics or stories. We need to research our keywords. And if you have participated in all of the challenges and done the tasks with me, as I said you should, then you should be through the planning phase. Your audience determines what topics and what types of content you will make use of, as well as what platforms to use, which brings us to our produce. So we need to identify the medium, the type of content, and the platform, and then go on to producing that content. We will go into content production per platform in module 3. Once we've started producing and posting our content, we then want to perfect it. And again, what we do is we analyze our data, we look at the metrics that we're measuring in order to achieve our goals. And much like the overall social media life cycle that we discussed in lesson 1, you want to then start publishing your content and analyzing the results, measuring the impact, and optimizing and refining that content based on the data that you have. So what people like, what they don't like, what wording works, what wording doesn't work, what imagery works or video works. And then we want to take the content that drives the most organic response, that is in line with achieving your goals that you would have identified. And then once we've started perfecting, we can then promote. So as I've said, you continue to publish the content that is achieving the goals you want, and then you promote and amplify your content across various channels. and putting ad spend towards that content. So that's all fair and well to go, okay, I know what content, I know what platforms, I know the process, this is all cool, but what exactly makes engaging content? Let me quickly ask you a question. So I'm going to show you 2 posts. Which post do you think is more engaging and why? Here we have post A and we have post B. You can just type that into Morpheus, but we can see that they're both basically highlighting the same thing. We have Fender versus Gibson, and I'd like you to just take a guess at which one engages you more. Which one would you like, or which one would you comment on out of these A or B options? And then in your notes, there is also a link to each of these posts. So you can take a look at these after the lesson, because now we're going to look at what makes engaging content. So first and foremost, you want to be original. You need to identify a unique perspective or point of view with creative formats for your content. You also want to ensure that your content is valuable to your users. All the content that you produce should provide some kind of value, whether it's to educate, entertain, inspire, connect, communicate, or promote. What value is the viewer getting out of this? You also want to ensure that your content is compelling. So your content should inspire action, use call to actions, evocative language, psychological tactics such as FOMO or the fear of missing out, and introduce time limits. So put pressure on them in order to buy. You also want your message to be clear. It should be to the point so that someone can understand what the post is about literally over the period of a scroll. You also want to ensure that your content is consistent. So users will begin to build a relationship with your brand, and you need to ensure that your style, voice, terminology, and all of your messaging remains clear and consistent. And then you also want to ensure that your content is well written. Although you may be posting maybe only 200 characters on Twitter, for instance, don't underestimate the power of good writing, no matter how short it is. Make sure it's punchy and that people know what action you want them to take. And then also you need to be findable. So as we discussed in lesson 5, your content has to be findable. So optimize every piece of content as best you can. And this again includes using keywords. So you might be following all these rules, and that's amazing, and you're doing a wonderful job. But what exactly do users want from brands? First of all, they want personalization. Okay. As we saw in the example, they want to feel as though you know what they want, when they want it, why they want it, how they want it, and they want you to make it easy for them to get it. They also want to create a connection with brands. So they don't just want content to be thrown at them and, convinced to buy. They want a connection. They want to feel like on the other end of a brand is a real person. They're also looking for authenticity. It's all fair and well to promote your product, but be authentic about it, leave out the, photoshopped images and, find ways to kind of connect and be authentic about what you're offering and why you're offering it, as well as the features of your product or service. And finally, users want transparency. They want to know exactly what they're getting, when they're getting it, and how it all works. Okay. So be honest, open, and straightforward with your consumers. And this brings us to what you write in your posts, which is also referred to as copywriting. So a lot of people get confused between copywriting and the copy. These are not the same things. So copywriting is when you have an idea, it's your idea, you copyright it in order to solidify the fact that that is your idea. That's an R-I-G-H-T. But if we look at copywriting with a W-R-I-T-I-N-G, this is the act of writing text for advertisements or publicity material. Interestingly enough, the term copywriting seems to date from the explosion of modern journalism and newspapers in the 19th century. The definition in the Merriam-Webster dictionary for the noun copy is matter to be set, especially for printing, something considered printable or newsworthy, and text, especially of an advertisement. So when we talk about copywriting, we're talking about the text that goes onto your social media posts. And here are some of our key tips for copywriting. So first and foremost, you want to express your unique selling point or unique selling proposition. And we have spoken about this in previous lessons. Why would a user choose your product or service over your competitor? This needs to be highlighted within the copy that you post on social media. Number 2 would be to highlight the benefit over the feature. While your product may have certain features, that's fantastic. But what benefit is the user or the buyer going to get out of your product or your service? Then you want to use strong action verbs. So again, call to actions and tell them what action to take, or use your strong action verbs to highlight why this would solve their problems. And then you also want to look at using passive voice. You want to talk to people as though they're sitting right in front of you and not talking to them in the third person. You also can look at creating suspense or urgency. So put a time limit on something. Tell people that you only have 5 products left and that they should order now before they run out. So that is creating suspense or creating urgency. You also want to find a different angle. Look at your competitors. What are they saying about their product or service? And what is another angle to take from what they're saying? Because this will attract attention. Then you can also use a clear call to action. Online, people like to be told what you want them to do. So whether it's to buy now, sign up, click link, whatever the case is, tell people what you want them or what action you want them to take. And finally, be provocative. So test people, give them a little slice of heaven and then take it away. And show them what they're missing out on. Being provocative and poking the bear, as they say, can create engaging content. But also, again, please bear in mind what industry you're in as well as who your audience is. Not all audiences will respond to provocative copy. So bear that in mind when you are creating your copy. And then, of course, you also want to include your keywords. So we've spoken about keyword research, and the process there within keyword research would be to list your main keywords. You want to then research additional keywords and synonyms. You want to analyze the online usage, and then you want to insert this into your social media posts and bios. We're going to do a quick demo of how to do some keyword research. So in your summary notes, you will find some keyword research tools that you can use. But I think for our lesson today, we're going to use Ubersuggest. It's definitely one of the easiest ones that you can make use of. Alrighty, once you have typed in your Ubersuggest, you can see here that you get a landing page. And then you can start to type in a keyword or phrase. So maybe we want to say online courses or online course, and we want to do it for the United States. So you can also change your location here, which is pretty cool. And we're going to say search. Okay, so now we can start to see a breakdown of how many people, what the search volume is, so how many people are searching for this specific keyword, online course, what the difficulty of it is. As we can see, it's got a very high search volume, and this is the number of times it gets searched. We can also see that the SEO or search engine optimization difficulty is about 50. So of course, the more searches you get for a specific keyword, the more difficult it's going to be to rank, as well as the paid difficulty and the cost per click. So how much are you paying for an ad if someone clicks on that for this specific keyword? Then if we scroll down, okay, and then this is also interesting as well. So we can see how many people click on SEO results. And we can also see what the kind of age range is. So again, adding to our target audience and buyer personas. And then below that, we can now start to see what other course or online or what other keywords we could start using. So these keywords want to be included in our website. We want to include it in our social media posts. We want to include as many of these as we can all over the place. Of course, bear in mind that there is such a thing called keyword stuffing, and keyword stuffing is when you use keywords too many times and it sounds unnatural. Google will also penalize you for this, as well as social media sites. So ensure that it still sounds natural while considering your usage of these specific keywords. So then you can literally just go into an Excel spreadsheet. You can put your main word in there, and then you can put additional keyword ideas alongside that. And of course, you can look at the volume, so how many people are searching for these specific keywords, what the cost per click for each keyword is. So obviously, the lower the cost, the less you will pay. And then you can see the PPC difficulty, so your paid advertising difficulty, as well as your SEO difficulty. And then you can also, if you scroll down, you can start to get an idea of the types of content ideas that other people are posting about. So that is a very basic version of how we do keyword research. But remember, what we do is we want to take our main list of keywords. We want to then expand and research those into additional keywords as well as any synonyms, and then analyze that online usage. So what is the difficulty? What is the cost per click? And we want to then insert that into our social media posts, into our social media bios, as well as on our website. And then inside your posts, you also want to include some hashtags. So again, you want to list those keywords, you want to research what the popular hashtags are, and then you want to insert that into your social media posts and bios. Now, I know that sometimes we tend to get a little bit overboard on hashtag research. We are going to be going through this more in module 2, and we're going to look at how to determine what hashtags we should use. But in order to do hashtag research, I like to use a website called Hashtagify. So this link is also in your summary notes. You can always go back to it. Some brands tend to go overboard with their hashtag usage on social media. We are going to be going into more detail on how many hashtags to use within your posts on various platforms in module 2, but I'm quickly going to show you how to do hashtag research online. I like to use a platform called Hashtagify, and if I'm going to create a post about my social media course, I might then want to type in here social media course and let it load. And once that's come up, we can see what kind of popularity it has, as well as recent popularity, the month's trend, and the week's trend. So we can see that this is not really a trending hashtag. And if we go down, we can see that there is FCSM, startups, and Amber Kaya Academy. Those are not usable hashtags, so maybe I want to then try e-learning. There we go. And now we can see here that the popularity is very high. Recent popularity is also high. Unfortunately, the month trend seems to be going on a downward trend. You can see the popularity of these hashtags. And then if we scroll down, you can see what kind of hashtags go along with that. So I could say, try our new social media marketing course, hashtag e-learning, hashtag online course, hashtag edtech, hashtag education, for instance, or even the hashtag online learning. But you need to choose the ones that are most relevant to your post. And we will learn more about this in module 2. There is also some additional information here. You can see the languages used, spelling variants, as well as the top countries. So this is all really useful information when you are choosing hashtags to use. What we know is that we want to include our keywords in our copywriting. We want to ensure that we have hashtags to back that up. And in case anyone searches for those, they can find us. Okay, so we're at a point where we know what platforms we're using, who our audience is, the content types. We know what kind of, we know the post types that we want to use, as well as how to write the copy for each, including our keywords, including our hashtags. And then we need to take a look at our social media design. When you're designing your posts for each platform, there are a few different things that you should be considering. So first of all, you want to look at different images. So the style of your images that you're using, image sizes and the resolutions for each channel. So if you're using animations, then use animations. If you're using realistic or retro or whatever the case is that aligns with your product or service, aligns with your industry, and also aligns with your brand persona. You can never let that out of your site. You want to also try and include your logo. So the presence of a recognizable logo makes it easier for users to recognize your brand. How often do you scroll through social media and you see a post, but you don't look at who posted it? So this can help users to identify your brand when they're just scrolling aimlessly through Facebook. You also want to ensure that your design is balanced. If you ensure that your imagery is easily recognizable, consider what it would look like on mobile. So it looks epic on a desktop, but does it look epic on mobile as well? And then you want to ensure consistency. So again, consistency with copy, consistency with design. Ensure that all your brand color combinations and fonts are adhered to. This is where our design style guide comes in when we spoke about it in your strategy in lesson 4. So ensure that all those brand color combinations and fonts are the same and that you are easily recognized and consistent. And then you also want to limit your text on photos or on images. So try not to use too much copy on your designs. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point. You can also make use of negative space. So particularly if you're highlighting a product, you can ensure that your product stands out, and again, not making the image too busy or too chaotic. Those are just a few basic tips for when you are designing your images for social media. And then just an interesting fact to throw in here. So did you know that the average person consumes 11.4 pieces of content before making a purchase? That's 11.4 pieces of content just within your awareness and consideration phase. Okay, that is quite a lot of content. And that's excluding your purchase, retention, and advocacy phases. 11.4 pieces of content before even making a purchase. Bear that in mind. And I know that now seems like a lot of content to create, especially when you take into consideration the different platforms, the different types, your different audiences, as well as your different customer journeys. But this is the reality of social media marketing. On that note, I have a lesson challenge for you. Create a post using one of the copywriting and design tips that we learned about in today's lesson. And you can post your post to our Facebook page with the hashtag creating content. Before I wrap up this lesson, I want to talk to you about the bigger picture and the places that social media and education have taken me, and with the right help can take you. So I'd like you to quickly just think back. Why exactly are you here? After 7 lessons, you've made it this far, but when you look at the beginning, what exactly brought you here? And why did you sign up to this course in the first place? What are your goals? What were your goals for this course? What did you want to achieve by the end of this course? And why are you here? Now, there are different types of people on this course from all over the globe, and we all have a specific motivation for being here. So are you a self-improver? So did you sign up to this course because you wanted to just improve your social media skills or tackle that pesky imposter syndrome? You might be in the industry, you might have started a business and you want to know more. So if you are the self-improver type, I can probably wager that you are here because you want to complete the full social media course. You want to gain your professional diploma. You want to check out another short course with Shaw Academy. And in that case, I would recommend taking the blogging and content marketing diploma, as well as the viral marketing diploma. There is a 3 or 6 month membership, and this will allow you to complete the current social media course, as well as complete module 2, 3, and 4, and then also move on to some other courses like I've recommended here. But maybe you are not a self-improver. Are you potentially a self-starter? Maybe you're embarking on this course because you've decided that you want to aspire to something a little bit greater. Like we said in the last lesson, maybe you're looking to get a promotion as a marketer. Maybe you want to be the head of marketing. Perhaps you're thinking about going beyond just this particular course and taking your social media or your marketing skills to the next level. So if you're a self-starter, I could imagine that your goals would probably be to complete the full social media marketing course. You'd want to gain your professional diploma. and you'd want to complete another marketing related professional diploma course. So take your marketing skills even further. You could also use your skills to further your career. And on that note, I would most definitely recommend the digital marketing plus the blogging and content marketing, as well as the viral marketing, and then taking it a step further and looking at graphic design so that you can produce awesome posts. So if that sounds like you, I would definitely recommend a 12-month plan, because these are a lot of courses, but it will take you a step further and getting you upskilled, getting whatever you want. If you want to start a digital agency, if you want to start an advertising agency, a marketing agency, maybe you just want to, maybe you want to get a promotion, and all of these courses will definitely help you along your path to achieve your greatness. But you might also be a professional. Maybe from the outset, you had your eyes on the prize, which is to become a professional marketer or social media manager, and you are certainly on the right track. So if that is your goal, then you'd most likely want to complete the full social media marketing course. You then want to gain your professional diploma and complete all the other professional diplomas related to marketing as a whole. And as we know, as a marketer these days, you need to have multiple skills. You can't just do a marketing course and that's the end of that. You need to know about photography. You need to know about design. You need to know about coding, websites, email. You really need to know everything. You might also just want to enter the industry or become a professional marketer with all the necessary skills to succeed. And in that case, definitely let's not even mess around with 3 or 6 month courses. We're going to look at a 12-month course. And for that, I would look at doing the digital marketing, blogging and content, viral, graphic design, and then even taking it further into photography as well as into video. So you want to give yourself plenty of time to do all of these courses. And for that, I would definitely recommend a 12-month plan. If you don't fall into any of these categories, you might also be an entrepreneur. And you have aspirations even beyond that of a professional. And you want to start a business. So we all know that as a business owner, you need to be able to market your brand and your business. So you're then deciding to do media in general, and social media marketing will help you to understand marketing in the modern era and how you can promote your business within your industry, and you can start seeing some money coming in for your business. So you can grow it even more by learning all about digital marketing that you never knew before. And you might actually at that stage have a small business going for yourself and start employing other members of staff if you can grow your business to a big enough level where you can afford to pay salaries. So that's where you're going to want to learn all about leadership and management to help your business grow. And it is achievable through Shaw Academy, no matter what your goals are. In order to do this, your goals as an entrepreneur would then be to complete your full social media marketing course. Again, to market your business. You want to then gain your professional diploma. You want to explore other courses to further your business goals, and then gain even more professional diplomas. And at the end of the day, you will broaden your skill set and start or expand your business. So I would then recommend definitely a 12-month, or alternatively, if you really want, take it on a month-by-month basis. But as an entrepreneur, you want to get involved with our leadership and management courses, as well as then our digital marketing, blogging and content marketing, viral marketing, graphic design, as well as photography. And you can do it all in your own time. We have a pathway that is suited to your budget and to your needs. And there are many, many students like you. So we have 2 courses that you need to succeed. And remember, many students have come through and taken this journey before. So we have students just like you, and this is from Severino, and listing a few things that he likes about Shaw Academy. But I think the point that he is really trying to make here is that there is support, that you can actively try to reach out and ensure that you are completing your course. So whether it's through the active schedule times or whether you are just watching recordings and you need more time to complete your courses, we are always here for you to reach out to and to ensure that you achieve your goals. And that is all we want to do, is make sure that you achieve your goals. And Maria here sums it up quite easily. She really likes the courses, really likes the tutors, and she likes all of the knowledge that she has gained from these courses. And she's going to be taking a lot more courses this year. So remember that Module 2 starts next week. Have you gotten your place? I hope that you have already secured your place for your Module 2. Remember that time is running out. So give yourself enough time to complete your courses comfortably. Take out 6 months or a 12-month membership in order to achieve your goals. And there is still up to 50% off on this offer, but do remember that time is running out and it is a limited offer. So you know the drill by now. Our mission at Shaw Academy is to provide you with convenient, flexible, affordable, interactive, and internationally recognized education. All you have to do is simply choose the plan that best suits you. So we provide higher education at a lower cost in order for you to be able to learn your own way. So simply go onto your membership page or your members area, and this is where you will see the options that are available to you. If you want to save money though, go for the 12-month plan. All you have to do is click and you are done. And coming up in the last and final lesson, we are going to be diving into an introduction to social media management. But in this lesson, we learned about what types of content there are, the content development process. We also took a look at content creation, as well as how to engage your audience, what users want from you in terms of content, and copywriting and design tips. Congratulations on completing lesson 7. You are all rock stars. I hope that you had a great time and that you're ready to dive into creating wonderful content that is engaging and excites your audience. Please feel free to send us any feedback or suggestions. You can email us on support@shawacademy.com. Again, well done, and remember that every lesson builds towards your goals. Just don't drop out and you will achieve your goals with us. Thank you again for choosing to study with Shaw Academy and for attending lesson 7. I will see you at the next and final lesson of Module 1.